Previously on X-Men.
Hey guys, welcome back to Podtendo's recap of X-Men 97. Oh boy, we're still going, episode 8 in the books, and we're here to recap it. I am your co-host, Mick, and I'm joined by...
Tyson.
Cool, awesome. And we're back to one of my favorite weekly traditions at the moment, so I was really looking forward to this one coming out, and it didn't disappoint. It was satisfying from start to finish. But am I giving away off the top?
Nah.
Yeah.
It might be a shorter one.
Yeah.
But it's just fun. Really enjoying it so far.
Sure.
I think this is a good start to the 3-parter.
Yep.
Kind of lets everything unfold, and I really like what they're doing. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess we're both still enjoying it.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
That's good that we're doing this, and it'll be out a little bit earlier, not... Saturday was tempting, but Tyson stiff-armed me into it. He's like, no, we got to do it Thursday. People need to hear us. I said, okay, calm down. It's going to be okay. So we'll start off by reviewing the episode, looking over things. We got to start at the beginning, though. And this time, we're actually going to talk about the intro. I'm not just going to, like, pretend like it's my intro. The actual intro of the show. Who did the previously on X-Men? Was it Cyclops? Or Kate? Or Bastion? You know?
I couldn't tell you, to be
Okay.
honest. Not off the top of my head. Maybe Jean?
No, it's a
Jean?
man's voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just rewatched it, and I was like, wait, who says that?
Okay.
I think it's I don't know. Could be Cyclops.
Could be probably
Okay.
Cyclops.
Anything, and then the intro changes were Professor X is now back, so he was removed for a little while, as well as I believe there was like an asteroid M.
Yep, got both of them.
Okay.
That's what I saw. That's what I got in my notes too. So
Cool. So all I want you to know is Professor X might be alive. If you've never watched any other X-Men show, you'd be like, oh, great, awesome. And maybe that Magneto, even if he's destroyed, he's like so connected to the Earth's magnetic field that his molecules can like reassemble them. I think that's the plot of Asteroid M. I could be wrong though, so...
yeah, comics be crazy.
Yeah. As long as you're remembering that the magnetic field is important of the Earth, you'll be all right. But you know what'll make us more all right? If we tell you guys what happened in the show. We're not going to go beat for beat. We're not about that. I've got a terrible Podtendo plot summary for you. So we'll get through that guy, and then we'll get into what our favorite parts are. So, terrible plot summary. Cable has some daddy issues with Cyclops. Reveals that Genosha can't be stopped due to it being a fixed point in time. Reveals that he knows where Bastion's secret underground lair is. Dr. Cooper, meanwhile, meets Mr. Sinister, Magneto, and sees Bastion, real lab. At the same time, the Prime Sentinels are activated, causing a mall escape for Jubilee, Wolverine and Nightcrawler defending the X-Mansion, and Rogue, and an entire town chasing down the Summers. All appears lost when Magneto is let go and causes a global EMP, halting the attack, and we get one final crash landing from Professor X.
Yeah. Kind of big episode, lots of stuff happening.
Yeah.
We finally get what's going on with Bastion, and it's Nimrod impregnated a lady, and it's Nimrod's baby.
Oh, or it is Nimrod?
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. Well,
He's the first, but it kind of like has a flash, and kind of sounds like he's a mutant at some point. But
he does. He has like a teleportation power, doesn't he?
Yeah. So.
And he could talk to machines. That's kind of his abilities. He understands machines, but he's somehow... I mean, he's like the evolved version of Sentinel, right? I think that's the point of it. Is he's like... Yeah. Nimrod died in some type of genetic virus or something, was then impregnated, and it like did this weird genetic biology thing where he's now part Sentinel, part human, the next evolution for humankind.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, hey, this isn't like the comics. Really? You wanted Nimrod and Master Mold to like morph together and then get sent through some type of cosmic portal? That's really what you want? That would make you more satisfied? I'm like, no, you know what they did? They just made Bastion like, there you go, this stuff happened. And I'm like, I get it. Okay, let's move on.
like it makes sense. Like I actually I really like how they handle like so much of this. And even just like the scale of everything. So it's we're both pulling in a few of the other villains that have worked with them. Turns out Dr. Cooper, who, you know, gave us that creepy vibe from episode 1. You're like, she still kind of turns out that she was working with the bad guys the whole time, but maybe redeems herself by letting Magneto free. So
sure. Well, let's do a review. So instead of just talking about like random scenes of the episode kind of aimlessly, let's go. What's your favorite part? What's your one thing that stood out in this episode?
Nightcrawler and Wolverine's fight scenes in the mansion, I thought was epic. Loved it. That was fantastic. So
yeah, no, that was a very fun part that's going to be reflected probably later in the podcast when we get to some mutant rankings for sure. Definitely one of those kind of strong points. I think I watched the trailer actually for the next couple episodes. The only thing that was new that we haven't seen before was Nightcrawler and Marine fighting in the X Mansion. So we've already seen it. Great, awesome. I don't know if there's any new content from at least the last kind of trailer that was released. Why I watched the trailer, I don't know. Maybe I was sick. Probably sick. That's why. For myself, favorite parts, I'm gonna go with the Bastion storytelling, that they just kind of cleaned up his backstory like we alluded to, and it makes sense, right? It's clean. It makes, like, you know, your girlfriend, your wife, someone who hasn't watched comics before, I can even go in, I'm like, cool, awesome. Because going and watching YouTube videos of like comics explained and they're telling you about Bastion, I'm like, this is stupid. I don't like this. This is like a dumb origin story. So that, again, made it clean, made it make sense. We're like, okay, cool, yeah. I haven't gone back and watched One Man's Worth like the intro was telling us to. Remember when the intro's like, hey, look at this futuristic Wolverine and Storm, Nimrod, maybe you should go watch it. Bastion's father in that episode.
Maybe.
So
maybe
that is some fantastic.
There's some homework. Some homework to do.
So they kept showing his face. And he's like, he was a janitor at the school where Nimrod was blown up by Bishop and Wolverine and Storm and saving Professor X's life. Interesting. Go back, watch those episodes. Does he appear in that? Because I'm like, wow, that is some A-class storytelling, if that's the case, right? Like, you're doing some, like, big galaxy brain storytelling if you're pulling out random side characters. So I don't know if they have done that or not, but one of those things. I thought it was just, clean, simple, cool. Let's move on. Let's end this thing right. So we've got our villain. Let's roll.
Yep. Very solidly, well done.
Cool.
I like his whole introduction, and it's kind of like his creepy, and he has all these drawings and everything. So yeah, and we get to meet his mom, who he also turns into a Sentinel.
Everyone's a Sentinel.
Yeah, but okay, so I was thinking about this, like, so he says to Dr. Cooper, he's like, oh yeah, these people signed up for this. So is everyone that turns into a Sentinel, has they signed up for this willingly?
I don't know. And actually, that is one of the questions, like, if we had outstanding questions from this episode, because Trish Tillman seemed kind of sympathetic, right? The reporter that was into Beast. Right? She seemed kind of sympathetic. She was into Beast. I thought so. And then she was like, no, my creator, he is so genius. But she's already the Sentinel at that point. So I was like, kidnap her? I don't... Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't know the full scope. Because she was the one I was like, oh, huh. And I mean, you would think the whole town probably wouldn't volunteer for this procedure. So clearly he says people are volunteering. But I imagine they also do some, like, recon where they, like, kidnap people, release them back into the wild or something.
Could be.
Right?
Could be. Well, I feel like he is only telling, like, oh, I'll send out a memo. It's like, he's not really asking. He's just doing things.
Yeah.
It's like, do these people know what they're signing up for? It's like, they know the vagueness.
Yeah, we get it.
So it's like, I'm sure if he's like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? You might end up a Sentinel. He seems kind of unhinged.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, let's go scene by scene, I guess. Quick. Not that there's a lot of scenes. Like, we could kind of do this pretty quickly, right? Like, I was like, opening scene, we have Cable and a little bit of, like, kind of the backstory between Jean and just what she's dealing with and Cyclops. We get a little bit of conclusion, I guess, to, like, that story. Anything talk-worthy there?
Yeah, they kind of do the review, like, this. I think this is when they're discussing Bastion and stuff. And they have a kind of a vague idea. And Cable kind of fills them in about the future, about how essentially mutants are slaves and everything. So it's kind of interesting. I think they really touched on the point, like, hey, we can't go back to Genosha. So, but they also do touch on like, hey, where's Bishop? And you're like, yes, where is Bishop?
You know what? From a guy who just showed up randomly in the beginning, there's no reason for him to be in episode 1, right? As far as I can go back watching the old series, he shouldn't be around.
Besides to like, what do they do with the baby? But yeah,
like literally his job was he's gonna be there and then disappear, and like we haven't heard any hide nor hair. And from that point of view, and
Cable and Bishop both got separated.
Yes.
They do mention that, where it's just like, oh, okay, so sending Cable through time was also just another terrible idea, but Bishop also got separated. So we're getting drip feeds of what Bishop's up to.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, realistically, they've been telling us what season 2's about this whole episode, and maybe that's why they're mumbling the word on Bishop, right? Maybe he comes back in some capacity there, right? From there, we see the X-Men leaving, right, via jets, and then it's just kind of prep work until, like Bastion's backstory, meeting his mom, learning his backstory, seeing kind of the bit with his dad, and then we get into the Sentinel attack, and that's the episode, right? Am I missing something?
Nope. That's essentially it.
Jubilee
and Rodrigo.
They do
Roberto?
like a Roberto. They're talking to his mom. She decides that she needs to go do a little retail therapy, so rather than dealing with the bigotry of the mom. Cool, awesome, great. Now, when they come back and they crash into the gala and they're killed, the Sentinels do say something, which is they say we're not here, or these guys are trying to kill us, and the Sentinels stop and say, no, we do not kill mutants.
Yes.
Do you have that line written down? Like, remember what they said?
No, but I think that's it. It's like, we do not kill mutants, we liberate them, and it's like, that's weird.
What is that?
Why would you say liberate?
What is that?
Forced labor.
Wait.
We saw what happens
to
in Cable's future.
It's right. Like, all right.
We do get a flash of the future, but I'll save that for my Easter eggs. So
sure, bit of the flash of not a dystopian, but more of a utopia. So the humans evolve into these prime sentinels, where they're kind of technologically greater than mutants. They turn to become the prime race, and I guess that's bad.
Well, they're using mutants as slaves.
Which is weird. They just don't kill them.
Most utopias, well, because when you don't have to work or whatever, and
but if everyone's a sentinel, like what to what ends? Do we have to eat still?
Yeah,
no. Do they have to sleep? Do they have to, like, if I could fly around and punch things, like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, doesn't sound like much of a utopia to me. Sounds more like a dystopia, because it's like, where's the free will? Where's the free thought? Everybody is programmed to have one big old hive mind, and
really,
the only people...
you don't think that would be nice? Just do the same. Everyone does the exact same things. I think that
Hell
sounds great.
No.
Oh, okay, I was signed up. I was like, this Bastion guy kind of like. Not only do I get to be a flying sentinel, I could punch really hard. Everyone's just chill, and also like me, we're all like working towards one prime directive. Sign me up.
And you don't seem to take damage. Like, the healing factor is intriguing if you're looking for immortality and some healing factor. But I don't generally agree with slavery. If we could work with those mutants, that'd be ideal, because it seems like this just like, hey, take this thing and you're essentially on the same level as any mutant who trains for their whole lives. So
he's become a mindless drone. Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
right? Let's see. So if we went through, so that was Jubilees. I think we talked about the main talking points on Jubilee. The other ones would be the Summers.
Yeah, the Summers family. Essentially just their escape, and then they just get surrounded.
I mean, that's when we get to see more secondary mutations too, right? Cyclops' big secondary mutation this season of just being able to jump out of whatever the fuck he wants and land no problem. So the Blackbird is exploding, and they fly a Porsche out the back of it, and he just downshifts and lands no problem, and outruns the Sentinels. And I was like, whoa, your hypersonic jet can't outrace these things, and you're like, oh, we'll take the Porsche through a mountain. What?
Hey, it got name checked. It's like, you have a Porsche? It's the one thing that Cable's like, I'm impressed, Dad.
I guess that is like big dad energy right there. And I was like, what? A Porsche? Okay, cool. And then it crashes. Like, it doesn't show Jean magic bubble. It's just, no, he just downshifts, revs her up, and just hits the ground running. And I'm like, What is happening right now? Okay.
Supposedly that's a reference to a James Bond movie, but I question even the validity of this. It's like, when did James Bond do this?
Did he ever fly a car out the back of a jet while Sentinels attacked him? I just don't think he did that.
But it's all in that downshift. I feel like that's some Fast and Furious BS happening.
I could see that. Yeah, wasn't one of the movies? Didn't in the A-Team they like took a took a tank or something and dropped it out of a plane?
I think a van. Yeah, no, I think you're right. They did drop a tank.
Something like that. They paired it to tank. Anyways, we don't need to talk about the A-Team here because no one ever needs to talk about that. Great movie. And then the other plot thread, I guess, would be the Sinister in his lab, right? He kind of, I don't know, he seems kind of, remember when he was supposed to be the big bad guy? He had that whole episode, and I was just like, I'm just a lab assistant. He does say
that he's like, I'm
not
like
working for Bastion.
I don't work for Bastion.
Yeah, I would just want a mutant gene pool to play with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, and he offers that to me, and that's something I've always wanted. And you're like,
okay,
God damn it, Sinister.
Cool.
But that's very much his MO. It's like he does not like to get into one-on-one confrontations. He would much rather just be like, I'm just gonna hide and do my thing because.
I mean, in Beyond Good and Evil, so from the original X-Men cartoon, that was his motivation to work with Apocalypse. It's not that he wanted to see everyone suffer. He's like, I want to be able to do experiments, and then because we control time here, I can like slide it ahead thousands of years and see like what happened, right? And cause and effect is almost nothing. For a scientist, this is the greatest place to be. So he has kind of always his nefarious deeds. We do see Magneto just chilling, not doing much. And then I guess that finally just leaves the attack on the X-Mansion, right? The defense, like me and Tyson alluded to, that's his favorite part. Wolverine and Nightcrawler kind of fighting through the mountain. It was top-notch. Morph got me again, son of a bitch. I was like, oh, Juggernaut's here. Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
Oh, every time I'm like, oh, never mind. Just Morph. Well, when he got thrown, I was like, wait, shouldn't you not be able to stop Juggernaut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I have questions because one Sentinel essentially stopped the Juggernaut. It's like, if he can move, he shouldn't be able to stop. Morph, maybe you are just bad imitations.
I mean, Juggernaut's a good guy to go with, I guess. And then
I mean, if he's just a strong guy, it's like,
then all that leads is the escape at the end. So we don't even see it. We just get Bastion rolling up to the X-Mansion, seeing the Sentinels looking like they've beat everyone, looking pretty successful. When Mr. Sinister alerts that Dr. Cooper has released Magneto, who flies to the North Pole and creates an EMP, which destroys, at least stops all the attacks for now. And that final crash landing of Professor Xavier, good thing his house was destroyed. That's right, Mr. X? Why did he crash land?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, is he just being a bad driver, or do these things just not have a barking mechanism? It's like the Shi'ards, like, instead of like working on landing, they just smash all their equipment into wherever it is. It's like, what?
I think.
Did you not take a course? You're one of the smartest people. You couldn't be like, hey, does anyone know how to land one of these things?
Really thankful that your house was just destroyed in that Sentinel attack, so you wouldn't be like, oh, well, glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or maybe he saw it destroyed and was like, just go into there, guns blazing.
I gotta get there. Hopefully I'm not too late. Hopefully nothing terrible has happened.
Yes.
Right. So that leaves, I think that's all the plot threads. That's everything that we kind of discussed. Anything outstanding from this episode that you want to discuss before we get into our least favorite parts?
No, I think we kind of hit everything, and if I didn't, I'll probably mention it in my Easter eggs.
Yeah, and we do have rankings too, so individual characters, although mine are kind of lame. I'm like, oh no, I talked about them all today. Versus in the past, I've left sections intentionally so I could like talk at the end. I may not get that today. Like Tyson said, this might be a under 30-minute podcast. Least favorite part for myself, Disney Plus. Everyone's talking about this. Everyone loves the show. Where is it? When I turn on my Disney Plus streaming service, you know what I see off the top? 25 years of Family Guy. That's pretty exciting. How about this new show with some actress? Yeah. Halt. You want to see Halt? That would work. Oh, how about The Simpsons? Yeah, oh, you don't like that? What about American Horror Story? X-Men is like the 5th or 6th option on new episodes this week. What are you doing? Why are you not promoting this?
I told you, because Disney, for some reason, does not like the X-Men and want to utilize this franchise. They just don't. I don't know what it is, but Disney actively does not like the X-Men.
But it's just like, you had Spider-Man in this episode. You don't want to show the kids Spider-Man?
Nope.
That part I'm like, it's actually kind of obnoxious how hard it is to find this. Also, continue watching. I couldn't just queue it up because it's like, no, you were watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back in July. Do you want to continue? Clearly, I don't. Right? Like,
yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
Oh, it's just silly. Yeah, look, new to Disney Plus. We have Shard Lake, The Veil, Twilight. Good. It's not even the recommended High School Musical. New episodes this week: Bad Batch, Sandland, We're the Lucky Ones, Family Guy, The Veil, and then X-Men '97. Really? You're promoting Family Guy and Sandland?
Yeah. Pretty sad.
I just don't understand that part of it. So my least favorite part is just it's hard to find those episodes. Like, and this episode is fast, a little bit fast paced. Wish we had more. Right, like Magneto just getting a shave, being locked up, and then being freed seems quick. Right, but anyways, what's your least favorite part?
I guess I don't really have a negative about this. This was I thought a very satisfying episode with lots of stuff. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe my least favorite part is the whole Roberto storyline. Still, it's like, how have we done nothing with this character ever? It's like, oh, he learned to fly this episode, and you're like, cool beans.
He's been training in the danger room.
It literally runs to his mommy and says, "Mommy, stop." Mm-hmm. It's like, God, I hate this character.
Okay.
So
sweet. Yeah, that's a good worst. You know what? He almost made my rankings because I was like, well, he did stuff.
Yeah,
but I cooler heads prevailed, and I was like, no, he sucked. All right, so Easter eggs. What kind of Easter eggs do we got in this episode?
We got a sighting. Obviously, we mentioned Spider-Man.
Yep.
There was an Omega Red. There was Silver Samurai. There was a Baron Zemo, which was the purple guy with the thing,
mm-hmm.
and Doctor Doom.
Baron Zemo is also, I think he's the guy from Civil War. The bad guy from Civil War is Baron Zemo.
Yeah. Got Doctor Doom. Got William Stryker from X2.
Yep.
We got Polaris and Rachel Summers, I think was the other one, the other person in the flashback of the future. So
sure.
the other Scott's kid. And we got Cable's computer makes an appearance. Beast references the sorcerer's
Carmitage.
Carmitage. There you go. There is a Stark Expo little Easter egg there, mm-hmm. but kind of already mentioned Juggernaut. There was a couple James Bond things. Supposedly, like, people have it as I saw it written down that they had as there's a James Bond, like the Porsche chase scene, and then Wolverine fallen after being like teleported.
Okay.
I don't think that's anything.
Okay.
And just the Magneto was right saying that, which is in the comics and everything, because you know what, that son of a gun was right. So
yes, he was very right not to.
Yes, and that we didn't mention Dr. Cooper's like little speech at the end. It's just a really solid speech. Literally gave me chills when Magneto was sending out pulses and literally shutting off all the Sentinels. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, and everybody's like, oh wow, he should turn them all off. And Wolverine says, I think he says,
he did it.
He did it.
He did it.
He saved us. It's like, no, declared war or something like that line.
Yeah. I don't know. I have...
Which is like, I think they already did.
Yeah,
like, they blew up, like, mutants had two kind of safe places, the Expansion and Genosha, and
they both
have been, like, nuked. Like,
well, and they, like, weaponized, and was it just the Sentinels around the X-Men, or was it, like... Because at one point it kind of seemed like all over the world.
The whole... Yeah, and, like, when Beast's staring at the globe, it looks like the whole like,
thing.
East Coast lights up.
So is that just Sentinels
right?
are fucking up shit all over the place, right? And, like, we're gonna have
I think anywhere where there was a mutant...
Yeah, so I don't know if Magneto
stuff went down.
Technically started this Wolverine, but good try. And if that was all the Easter eggs I picked up. Another reference again to the Avengers, right, between Spider-Man and Stark. So I don't know. I know we're gonna get next season, but feels very X-Men versus Avengery.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that they might come to help.
Yeah, sure. It could be a big call up or something. Yeah, lots of cameos, lots of things going on. So, any future casting? There's still lots of. Storm isn't even back. Every time they were flying around and it was Storm, I was like, "Oh, Storm's back." No, not yet. So, I guess she reunites with Professor X in the next episode.
Yes.
And Forge has to show up. And lots of good stuff going on in these next couple episodes.
Where's Bishop? Everybody keeps asking, where's Bishop? And if he's not in the room, people should be saying, where's Bishop?
All right. So that's our future cast is what's Bishop up to? And like, again, I don't know. Without Forge, who had 2 of her own episodes, guys. She had 2 own episodes, and we haven't seen her yet. So Storm, Forge coming back. Professor X is back on the planet. Everyone knows he's alive. Good times. All right. From there, though, all we have left to do is rank the top 5 mutants. So we rank them 1 to 5. Number 1, first place gets 5 points. 5th gets 1 point. We keep tabs on them all. We're going to do a big episode in 2 weeks. So that means something has to move, right? Okay, maybe we need to talk about this afterwards. Anyways, we'll do this. We'll give you guys a big recap at the end. So, Tyson, who do you have at number 5?
I got Cyclops.
Cyclops. He did not make my list, so.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate they drives a Porsche, man of taste.
Yeah.
He was taking charge. I really appreciate just he's been a solid character throughout this whole show. I just appreciate the justice being done to this character where it's like he's pretty capable and commands and does all the thing a leader needs to do without being like dunked on.
James Marsden does nothing after X1. Yeah, I think he gets knocked out and he fights Jean and then he dies, right? So this is definitely a character renaissance, some retribution. And like people in the past, I was like, Cyclops is awesome. I'd be like, kinda, yeah. He has his moments, right? So we'll see kind of where it goes forward, and maybe I don't know, but yeah, no, I agree. Good point. I did not have him. I had at number 5. I have your number 1. Huh.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll save that for now. At number 4, I do have Jean Grey, so I'll talk about her quick. She told Cable to put on his seatbelt, and I thought that was a very mature, responsible thing for a mother to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she was sitting next to Scott, who wasn't wearing his seatbelt.
She cares about her child more. It's do as I say, not as I do.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Scott's an adult. He doesn't need to worry about this, even though Cable has gray hair.
and also, what's going to happen if they crash? Cable's going to fly and like get destroyed. Cyclops, if he crashes, he's going to be hurled to the ground. Just barrel rolls out of it. It's fine. It's his secondary mutation. He doesn't gravity doesn't affect Cyclops anymore.
He has the greatest joints on the earth.
That's it. Like, just takes it. Him and Link from like Ocarina of Time have like jumping off its contest and they just fucking tank it into their knees and they say,
it's fine. He rolled through it. He did a parkour roll.
Oh, he pressed forward and it's fine. It's not even a big deal. Okay, awesome. Who do you have at number 4?
I got Wolverine at number 4.
He's my number 3, so we can talk about it right now. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Great little scene. Wasn't there too much. Nope. Didn't take up the plot, but had a kick-ass action scene with Nightcrawler. Because that was just incredible. Lovely animation. When I first started watching the show, what about the animation? Mm-hmm. I have 0 complaints throughout this entire episode. Looks great. I love it. I've fallen in love with it.
Yeah, in terms of animation, this show is okay. I would say above average for the most part, but then there's a couple moments. Rogue and Magneto at the gala, specifically, I remember that scene, and just the attack on Genosha. And the action in this last episode is just absolutely top-notch. It's spectacular, and it like blows it out of the water, right? They were definitely holding off on the budget for key set pieces, obviously, right? Not trying to burn too much there, but yeah, I agree. Animation, action was spectacular. That is why Wolverine is actually my number 3 too. He has 6 reasons to stop the Sentinel. Who do you have at number 3?
I had Wolverine, and sorry, I'm staring at your list, and I have Cable.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Didn't do much, but showed up, was kind of important to the plot. Mm-hmm. Doesn't carry his EMP grenades or doesn't have enough EMP grenades. So
I thought that was. I was like, you know what I would do before I went to the Sentinel factory? You know what the one thing I would make sure I had a couple of?
100%. He always has all those pockets.
That's it.
Why do you have all these pockets?
Why do you have a bandolier?
These are good questions. These are good questions.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good episode for Cable. More to come. It's like,
Yes.
they're definitely playing more into the father-son dynamic, which I guess you kind of have to because they're a whole baby at the beginning, right? So, how about at number 2? Who do you have?
I got Nightcrawler. Who do you got at number 2?
Of course I have Nightcrawler. He's delightful. I wanted to put him number 1, but I couldn't justify it because maybe dies, but then he's fine. So
Yeah, he gets crushed by the Juggernaut, but he gets his swords, which is epic.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Nightcrawler's 3 swords?
And he holds up pretty well, like between him and Wolverine. And I think we talked about this last time. It seems like these Prime Sentinels are too overpowered, but Nightcrawler and Wolverine can hold off like 6 of them and cut them to pieces. Yeah, they rebuild, but like they do some damage. So
Yeah, they were tired by the end of it.
One of my favorite parts in talking of animation, you mentioned it with Wolverine. Let's mention it with Nightcrawler. There's a moment where Nightcrawler is touching Logan and a Sentinel, and they start to teleport.
Yeah.
And there's this really cool drawn out pull effect on like Wolverine before you kind of come back with the BAMF sound. Really neat, really cool. It's cool to see the inside of that teleportation, that slowed down version. I thought that was excellent. Great animation. So that's why. And he gives a speech to Jean actually about Madeline, about family and blood and who you choose. And I thought that was really touching too, and kind of ties in the whole like how important Rogue is to the narrative. And it's nice that her brother is now with the team. I thought that was good, excellent. He's philosophical, he's religious, and he teleports. Delightful.
Yeah. Adds the levity even when he's on it, but is such a kind of force to be reckoned with. Like the teleportation thing he's so good with it that there's at times where like he seems to single-handedly like take out like 6 of them, and he's so quick with like his sword. Like I just loved it. It was so amazing to watch. I ate it up. It was fantastic.
It was like everything you kind of wanted. But we both have different number 1s. We'll start with yours.
Yes.
Because I have to talk about my number 5.
Yeah. Magneto. I could see why he's low on your list. The reason why he's number 1 is because like him just like shutting down everything kind of gave me chills, and you're like, man, Magneto is just a boss.
So it was like, I just have questions. Was that the full extent of his powers? Just do that? So like the Sentinels are just, okay guys, I'm just gonna keep these EMPs going. You just go and you kill everybody and go take care of Bastion. We basically eliminated his arsenal.
Well, unfortunately, I think that these Sentinels tend to evolve over time, which is an issue because they tend to regenerate. So I think he might have just temporarily shut them down.
That's what I think. Yeah, it was the same way.
But did like a hard power reset, like drain the battery, so that sucker needs to recharge for a bit.
Sure.
And I feel like he probably used a lot of energy, but he was just absolutely just pissed off and has not been able to use his powers for however long he was there. So I feel like he might have just been storing that anger for this exact moment, which is why he hasn't said a word.
Okay. That's a good take. All right, yeah, I'll take it. Myself, I have Bastion at number 1. I think that we saw just kind of the formulation of him as a person, as a mutant, robot, sentinel, hybrid, whatever he is. A little bit of his use of his teleportation, although maybe it's his assistant that teleports. His use of machines.
I thought he throws his hand out.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I'm like, man, right? So, various mutant powers. He kind of was cold, calculating, menacing. Good villain. Absolutely great villain for the show. A little different. It was nice to kind of get to know him a little bit better. And why he's going to get 5 points from me.
Nice. I left him off my list because I'm like, is he a mutant or is he just... I'm not sure how to classify him. So, but good villain. I really enjoy him.
Wait, do we do villains in this?
Of course.
Did Mr. Sinister ever make the list?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm just going to pull up a reference here. Opening.
And it's like, right.
Sure.
Is he a mutant?
Yeah, no, okay, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
In Cable, in episode 6, you gave the
Sauron?
The adversary 5 points. So that's what I was trying to go for quicker. But yeah, no, you're Sauron. You actually did give Sauron 1 point one time. So okay.
I don't think Sauron counts, but it's fine. It's fine.
It's
I want to put Magneto number 1. I was happy with my list.
Yeah, no, it's
sort
perfect.
of.
I sat down and I was like, I have no idea how to rank these guys. So, but that does leave us. I'm okay. I really thought I would dread the weeks between. They were going to kind of build stuff up, leave more cliffhangers. Very satisfying standalone episode, right? Maybe part 2 leaves us in a darker spot or something. But no, I'm Excited for the next couple weeks. And like I said, I think we're doing like maybe a bigger for the 10th episode. So in 2 weeks' time, maybe expect like a longer show instead of one of these like quick 30-minute ones. But that's 2 weeks away, everyone. Until then, did we miss anything?
Jubilee seems to go shopping for one of Bastion's outfits.
Yeah, I know. I was like, is that what she wears in like the video game? She's like, I kind of looked hot as an old lady in this like black jumper. Maybe I should buy.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. I'd have to go back and rewatch. My memory's not that good.
And that's a problem. It's like trying to make the show, and if I almost need a night of just, okay, let's go check this episode and that episode and double check this and like reference this. Those guys that make the YouTube videos, I feel bad for them. I can just be like, man, close. And move on with my life. So
that's why comment sections are there. Correct us. Leave us corrections. We'll add a corrections corner if you do.
Cool. Sweet. Awesome. I hope you guys are also enjoying and like our takes. And yeah, we'll be back the next couple weeks to keep you recapped to the X-Men 97 show.
See you.
Okay, bye.